When Mattia Binotto was asked about the recent change in form between his team Ferrari and Red Bull and the extensive upgrades brought by its rivals so far this season, Mattia responded by saying, "It is true that Red Bull have improved their car since the very start of the season, and they introduced upgrades. If I look at the last two races, maybe they have got a couple tenths per lap faster to us. Now I have no doubt that in order to keep the pace, we need to develop ourselves and introduce upgrades. I hope, because there is as well a budget cap, that at some stage Red Bull will stop development. Otherwise, I will not understand how they can do that." And with Max Verstappen overturning a 46-point deficit behind rival Charles Leclerc in only a handful of races, that got me thinking, surely Red Bull's upgrade strategy will win the championship, right? So I devised a test to explore that theory. To make it easier to compare the two teams and the two different upgrade strategies, I've created a simplified set of constraints. In this test, both teams start the season at the same performance level. There's 20 races in a season, they both have 4 major upgrade packages a season, and each upgrade is worth 0.1 second improvement in lap time. Red Bull will introduce an upgrade every 3 races, while Ferrari will introduce their upgrades every 4 races. To simulate the points, we'll award a 1-2 finish to the team with a performance advantage. This is 43 points. The team with a performance deficit will get a 3-4 finish and 27 points. If they have the same performance level, we'll add up the points for positions 1, 2, 3 and 4 and divide them evenly between the two teams. As statistically, over the course of the season, if they have the same performance level and they're the quickest two teams, they'll share these points evenly. So a draw is worth 35. Let's take a look at our first example, and we've got Red Bull in blue and Ferrari in red, of course. You can see here that Red Bull are introducing their upgrades at races 3, 6, 9 and 12. Ferrari are introducing theirs at races 4, 8, 12 and 16. For the first 2 races of the season, they are even in performance, but Red Bull takes a step ahead at the 3rd race before Ferrari catches up at the 4th race. At race 6, Red Bull again gets ahead of Ferrari for 2 races this time before Ferrari closes the gap for 1 race. But with their 3rd upgrade package of the year at race 9, Red Bull opens a gap to Ferrari which they maintain for 7 races. Ferrari managed to catch up and finish the rest of the season with an even performance to their rivals. Let's see what that does in terms of points in the championship. Again, we've got Red Bull in blue and Ferrari red. You can see that Red Bull opens up a small gap in points at race 3 and then they really start to pull away at race 6. In this example, Ferrari is never able to close the gap to Red Bull as they never actually have a performance advantage over their rivals. Red Bull ends the season with 780 points, Ferrari with a distant 620. But we could potentially make this test a little bit more accurate because as Ferrari are spending longer to develop their upgrades and they can see what upgrades their rivals are bringing, it could be argued that Ferrari's upgrades would be more effective and worth a bigger lap time gain. Let's tweak the test slightly. Again, they'll start the season at the same performance level. There's 20 races a season with 4 major upgrades each. But this time, while Red Bull's upgrades are worth the same 0.1 seconds as the last test, Ferrari's upgrades are now worth 0.12 seconds. As we did in the last test, Red Bull will introduce their upgrades every 3 races, Ferrari will introduce their upgrades every 4 races. The point system is the same, 43 for a win, 27 for a loss and 35 for a draw. Running the test again, as we saw in the first test, they're evenly matched in the first 2 races, before Red Bull pulls out an advantage in the 3rd race. However, this time, in the 4th race of the season, Ferrari enjoys an advantage, after they introduce their first upgrade of the season. They carry this advantage into the 5th race of the season, before Red Bull's upgrade hands them the advantage for the next 2 races. Ferrari is the fastest car at the 8th round, before Red Bull then has a period of domination for 7 races. Ferrari then enjoys an advantage at the end of the season for 5 races. But who will end the season with the most points? As you can see, they'll nip and tuck in the early part of the season, before Red Bull opens up a points lead. It's not until round 16 that Ferrari begins to eat into Red Bull's points lead, but it's all too little too late. However, the points difference is much tighter this time round. Red Bull ends the season on 716 points, while Ferrari has 684 points. So what can we draw from these examples? Well, I think it shows that Red Bull could be onto a winning upgrade strategy this season. It does a good job of showing that if you can get a performance advantage over your rivals early on in the season, you can build up a points lead in the championship, which your rival can't overcome. Not only this, but I feel it could also mean that the team can move all the resources to focus on next year's car earlier, with the aim of getting the jump on rivals and repeating the process again. This seemed to be a philosophy that Mercedes employed in its dominant years in the turbo hybrid era. How many times did we see Red Bull end the season with the quickest car, build up hope that the next season was going to be the year we saw someone bring the fight to Mercedes, only for Mercedes to turn up to the new season with a fresh 1 second per lap advantage over the rest of the field. But there is potentially another twist in this story. Interestingly, Red Bull has been one of the most outspoken teams when it comes to increasing this year's budget cap, with Christian Horner saying 7 of the teams would probably need to miss the last 4 races to come within the cap this year. It's not just about the big teams, it's the teams in the middle of the field who are really struggling with inflationary issues. The FIA has a duty of care. I know they are taking it seriously. Energy bills, cost of living, costs are going up exponentially, and F1 is not exempt. Freight has quadrupled, and that's not something we can control. I wonder if Red Bull has potentially played a very clever, very high-risk strategy, overspending on upgrading its car early in the season with the expectation that they will be able to lobby to have the budget cap increased. We won't know until much later in the season whether Red Bull's aggressive upgrade strategy will win the championship, but it's certainly interesting to see how the two teams have differed in their approaches. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe for more F1 content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.